everyone, it's Maura with Maura4u. And today I'm at the Courtside Grill right here in Clearwater, Florida. For any of you who might remember, Courtside Grill is owned by Matt Geiger, the former NBA player and also someone who happens to be my former neighbor. Well, as I've been looking at the menu, I got a thought. Imagine that. Remember the old adage that says, you are what you eat? Well, for those of you who might not recall this, it was something that moms always used to say to their children, especially when kids used to eat too much candy and the mothers were afraid the kids were going to end up with a whole mouthful of cavities. Well, in many ways, you could say it is true. You are what you eat. You eat healthy food, you become maybe a healthy machine in your body. But do you ever give any thought to being you are what you eat in terms of the thoughts you take into your head and the thoughts you think about all day long, and maybe the thoughts you bring to bed at night with you? Well, of course, leave it to me. I would think of that kind of a question for you today. Well, years ago, there was a cereal campaign, and it was done by Wheaties. And Wheaties cereal was always known as the breakfast of champions. They used to convince kids that if they ate the right kinds of foods, they'd be able to go out and throw the ball farther. They'd be like the greatest athletes. Well, think about this. If you are what you eat, not just with regular food, but also with the thoughts you eat, and you actually become what you eat. Imagine if you've been eating something like sour grapes, and you'd be walking around sour grapes. Well, as I gave some thought to this question of the day, it occurred to me just 2 words. Imagine if all that you ate involved only 2 words, and those 2 words were goodwill. Goodwill. Goodwill about yourself, goodwill about others, goodwill about situations that may even prove themselves a question mark for you. You might not even know the way out of it, but everything you expect and everything you think about is really involving goodwill. Imagine then if you are what you eat, you literally become walking goodwill. And I'll leave you with this final thought. You know, even in business and business transactions and the buying and selling of certain merchandise, there are many people that will sell, let's say, a restaurant. They could sell the restaurant for the tables and chairs and for all of the equipment in the back room, and that's the selling of the restaurant. But when your restaurant carries your name on it, and there's been a long history of service, and all of your patrons keep coming back because they know every time they come, they're getting something good to eat, and they're enjoying the food you serve and the service that you give. When you decide to sell your restaurant and you sell it with the goodwill of your name, do you know oftentimes that goodwill carries a far greater value than any of the equipment did? I hope that gives you something interesting and maybe new to think about today. Be walking goodwill. This is Maura with Maura4u. Take care. Bye-bye.